Hey everybody, old school comics reviews again. Okay, we're gonna do another fantasy team up here. Once again inspired by Juggernaut 44. I'm just gonna try to bring up what he wrote to me. He says, I'm gonna toss in another scenario if you're up to it. Scenario: the Fantastic Four have been temporarily displaced from the Marvel Universe for months now. The Marvel superhero community is worried and feels it needs to temporarily place the heroes until they come back. Give me four heroes who should replace them. These characters can be from any team, partners, or single heroes in the Marvel world. Characters and abilities roles must fit the regular Fantastic Four. A leader or tech or scientist, a strength character, a convenient power, a regular power but with the potential to amplify itself, i.e. the Human Torch fire ability, but be able to go Nova if intense circumstances apply. Okay, so this is going to be my Fantasy Fantastic Four team. Okay, excuse me. I'm gonna try to once again try to do something a little bit more unconventional and stuff. My favorites are probably close to everybody else's favorites, but I'll just try to throw things around here a little bit. So, in my first pick, as far as a tech or scientist type person, I'm gonna go with Amadeus Cho. I like Amadeus. Amadeus is a newer character, boy genius, brilliant mind. I didn't really read too many of the Incredible Hercules stories, but I did like his appearances in Dan Slott's Mighty Avengers, and I thought he's an interesting character. A little spunky, a little bit of attitude, but still a likable character. So I'm going with Amadeus Cho as the scientist, tech genius type person. As far as the strength character, I am going with Namor, Prince Namor the Submariner. Back in the old days, Namor is second only to or maybe third, however you want to look at it, to the Incredible Hulk and Thor. But like I was gonna say, back in the old days, he's gone toe to toe in fist fights with these guys and walked away, you know what I mean? Matter of fact, when I was young, I used to have a reprint of some comic from like the 60s or whatever, where the story was, it was the Submariner versus the Thing, and basically the Submariner wiped the floor with Ben Grimm. And the story ended where Ben Grimm is he's on the ground, he's damn near out. Submariner's actually got a boulder or something. He's about to finish him off, and the only reason he didn't is because the Submariner's girlfriend from the 40s shows up and breaks up the fight or something like that. But anyway, as far as like heavy hitters, as far as powerhouses, the Submariner's always been there, so that's my pick there. As for a convenient power, I'm gonna go with another unconventional pick here. I'm gonna go with Arena, which is a newer character. Spider powers. Spider powers are always cool. She can go places where other people can't go. She can see things that other people can't see. She's kind of a rookie, and but she can bring that kind of youthful enthusiasm to the game, and she also can look at everything, whatever situations they get into, with a sense of awe and wonder and freshness and newness. So I think that would be good. And the last person I'm going to pick for somebody who has kind of a regular power, but has potential to expand or whatever. I'm going to go with, I think it's going to be a real controversial pick. I'm going to say Living Lightning. And yeah, I know, Living Lightning. Living Lightning who? Living Lightning is a character who was from one of those older issues of the West Coast Avengers. Basically, he's a guy who can turn into lightning. But now, the whole reasoning behind this, you might say, well, why pick him as opposed to picking any other, anyone from a number of 50 other characters who have either electricity or lightning powers? Basically because here's a character that's a little bit more obscure, and not really being used, and maybe we could find a way to have him use those type of powers in a different way. So often you have somebody with that kind of electricity, lightning power, basically they fly around and they just zap people. Why not try to figure out a way to have him use his powers in different ways? I mean, electricity is so much a part of our normal everyday life. not just in, the machines and technology we use, but also in nature. There's electricity in the air. Your brain has electric impulses in there. I think it would be interesting to try, like, figure out a way just to have them do new and different things. And at the same time, maybe, plot out how some of these other characters, since there's so many of them, how their how their powers are similar or different. Why is it that these guys over here seem to just conduct energy or conduct electricity, while these other people over here can transform into electricity? How, he can turn into lightning. How is his lightning different than, say, I don't know, just to make something up, the lightning generated by somebody like Storm? How is it different than, say, when Thor comes around and does his thing? His lightning is magic. Is it the same? Is it somehow different? And just figure out a real different way of, like, using that power. And since he's kind of a blank slate, I think you can kind of write in interesting things. Now, the other thing I would like to do is just how the characters play off each other. You've got Amadeus, and I think Amadeus would think, like, okay, we're the new Fantastic Four. I'm the smartest guy in the room. By default, I'm the Reed Richards guy. I should be the leader. But, the Submariner, the Submariner's been around for a while. And the Submariner doesn't take orders from anybody, The only person the Submariner's ever taken orders from, without question, is maybe Captain America. So as far as the Submariner is concerned, this team is Namor and his amazing teenage sidekicks. He thinks he's on Captain Planet and the Planeteers, or Mr. T and the T-Team, or whatever they were called. He's like, I'm the star here. You guys are my spunky kid sidekicks, And I think it would be interesting to do a thing where it's like, Amadeus comes up with plans. Namor generally follows them because they're good plans, but every once in a while, Amadeus might say, well, we should go left, but the Submariner would say, no, we're going right, and that's it, because, hey, I'm Namor, Imperious Rex, and that's it. And then maybe they would, like, get in some even more trouble because, just the Submariner is being stubborn. Another thing I think would be interesting would be how Arena and the Living Lightning play off each other, because I think Arena is supposed to be Puerto Rican, I think, and then I believe Living Lightning is supposed to be Mexican, and I think it would be interesting to see how these two characters play off each other. Arena's still kind of a teenager, Living Lightning is a little bit older, and then they would have things in common just by being Hispanic and being in America, but at the same time they still have, like, it's still different. It's still different culture. All Hispanic cultures aren't the same. He would have, his memories of his family and grandparents and so on and so forth, and she would have hers. And it would be interesting to see how they play against each other. How they relate and don't relate and so on and so forth. And I think that would be an interesting thing to bring into the comic. The other thing I would think would be really cool to bring in would be, the new Fantastic Four would be doing their thing, saving the world, so on and so forth. And the general public at first would, really be appreciative, but after a while, people would be like, the public would be split. Some people would be, hooray, the new Fantastic Four, they're great. And other people would be like, who are these jerks? I want Ben Grimm back. These losers, So, that's my idea, Tell me what you think. Once again, thank you very much. Check out my blog if you want to, and you have a great one. Give us your ideas for a new, different Fantastic Four as well, okay? Peace!